fearful Harry. According to royal biographer Angela Levin, Harry is frightened of Meghan, which she broke down while speaking with GB News about the couple. The author issued claims of the Duke being nervous around his wife, informing GB News host Dan Wooten, "It's well known that Meghan is delightful unless you say something that she doesn't want you to say. Then she is really scary. I think he is frightened of her because of the way he looks at her. He doesn't want to say something if she wants to speak. If she wants to talk to someone before him, then he steps back." This was argued online when a former clip of the Duchess and Harry allegedly reading William's text in their Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan went viral, with some netizens dubbing the interaction as sweet and a show of their love, while others claimed it proved Harry's discomfort around Meghan. In the video filmed shortly following their joint Oprah interview in 2021, Meghan is overheard reading a statement regarding Queen Elizabeth II before Harry shows her his phone screen. Harry seemed thrown for a loop of surprise and shaken up over the message before he told Meghan, "I wish I knew what to do." The moment ended with Meghan advising them to step out and take a breather while she hugged Harry. Before we jump into number 9, like today's worthy now if you predicted any of our top 10 points in this video. In our 9th spot, time apart. It's known that the spouses have been publicly inseparable since they departed from their royal duties and relocated to California in 2020. But Meghan's absence during Harry's promotions for Spare left many questioning if their relationship was as strong as it seemed. Meghan remained impartially silent while Harry was popping up on a multitude of televised interviews to promote his memoir. Despite Meghan being expected to be next to him as usual, she instead took a back seat and gave Harry full spotlight attention. Apparently, the Duchess didn't want to pull the focus from her husband, so she supported him from afar. According to Heat magazine though, Meghan actually decided not to attend because she desired to be seen as a person in her own right, and it annoys her that she's labeled clingy. She reportedly was also interested in expanding her social circle and had a list of people she hoped to reconnect with, feeling as if there was no need for her husband to be a part of that. However, Harry was allegedly not on the same page with his wife's idea, reportedly feeling out of sorts. The publication further noted how Harry didn't nearly share the same amount of American friends compared to Meghan, so it would be a drastic change for him to suddenly have to be apart from her after they've been such a strong unit over the years. This change was considered big for the prince in terms of following Meghan's advice, but added how it would do them both good to spread their wings a little. The magazine's claims came fresh off more predictions of the couple divorcing. However, these claims are an old tale for the Sussexes as they have yet to be proven true. In our 8th spot, King Charles's interference. A royal insider made claims that King Charles III may soon be offering Meghan a $50 million divorce settlement as the monarch blames Meghan for his son's explosive allegations against the royal family. From the same source, Charles is quote, "willing to do anything to save his child." According to a high-level courtier cited in the Global magazine, Charles blames Meghan for initiating Harry's damaging allegations against the British royal family. The courtier claims Charles is willing to forgive Harry for the horrifying damage he's inflicted on the royal family in the last 3 years. According to the Duke, Charles said he was already having to pay a lot for him, his older brother Prince William, and his wife Kate Middleton. However, Harry said he soon realized his father was not concerned about money and suggested he was jealous of Meghan's growing popularity. In our 7th spot, rule breaking. Though there's a lot Harry is equally to blame for in this category, a topic that constantly surrounds Meghan is her excessive attitude towards breaking the rules. According to the public and online discourses, where Kate serves as a sophisticated, classy woman, Meghan serves as the opposite. Kate has been detailed as someone who sticks to the royal code, like dressing and mannerisms to a T, whereas Meghan has been known to prioritize comfort and not needing to be perfect for the public. Meghan also without a doubt is more sure of putting her foot down and saying no as opposed to Kate, which is highly frowned upon in the royal world, I guess. One example of this pulled from reports is that Meghan often sits with her legs crossed over her knees, which apparently is a huge no for someone involved with the royal family. Because similar to the Queen, Princess Diana, and Kate herself, Meghan was meant to sit with her legs and her knees kept close together while she was tied to her royal duties. In our 6th spot, family history. Meghan has been reported to be an American sweetheart mainly due to her long family history. Again with Kate, because reports just love to compare, William's wife has a lengthy history of wealth, perseverance, and business. However, Meghan's family history is notably a lot different. Because of this, the public questions Meghan's intentions of marrying Harry. As per Time magazine, Meghan's mom's neighborhood does not meet the royal standards due to the fact it's known for its violence, gangs, and trouble. Numerous tragic events and crimes have taken place fairly close to Meghan's old home, allowing for newspapers and tabloids to create racially motivated comments about Meghan that upset Harry. At one point, Meghan's future sister-in-law, Darlene Blount, was even detained for harming Meghan's brother in Oregon on New Year's Eve. In our fifth spot, fan of publicity. Meghan is used to the publicity of her current lifestyle because she was an actress beforehand, so naturally she adores social media and general publicity, and she was also someone who very much had it. Meghan is a huge fan of selfies too because it's a large part of being in the showbiz industry, but this is the exact opposite when it comes to the royals, as seen in her social media accounts being revoked upon Meghan's marriage to the prince. Of course, now that they've left, Meghan is free to do and use whatever she pleases. However, prior, everything needed to remain discreet and private regarding their relationships and every small detail concerning the royal family. Meghan has repeatedly broken that rule of privacy though. She even fully addressed and spoke about her relationship publicly for her Vanity Fair feature. Many speculated that the interview was just another barrier that would weaken the foundation of their relationship. In our fourth spot, previous marriage. Kate still holds the consideration of being the oldest bride in royal wedding history, outside of Camilla, who was pushing 60 years of age when she married Charles as a second wife after Diana. Reports noted that Camilla was a divorcee back then though. When Meghan and Harry's wedding date was set to occur in May 2018, Meghan was obviously not given the oldest bride title because her situation was similar to that of Camilla's, as someone who's been formally divorced going into the royal family. Back in 2014, Meghan tied the knot with American music producer Trevor Engelson. Although it shouldn't have served as a problem, royal fans were torn to shreds over the fact that their once beloved prince was giving his hand to a divorcee. Luckily, Meghan still sits in the same boat as the queen consort, so it makes her and Harry's marriage a bit more acceptable in the eyes of some. In our third spot, different tastes. Reeling back a bit from the previous point, Kate is a lover of sophisticated fashion pieces. She's always spotted dressed to the nines, and it's usually right on par with the royal dress code. She furthermore serves as a British fashion icon, but has also influenced people worldwide to adore her prominent pieces. In short, Kate dressed just as any royal woman should. Obviously, Meghan is not exactly a royal dress code icon. Her American side is true to her clothing pieces, opting for comfy clothes that scream classy simply because she's Meghan Markle and she makes it work. Meghan's never strayed from her casual style of ripped jeans, flowy blouses, and ballerina flats. Though there's never been anything wrong with her fashion while she and Harry were engaged, she was still a part of the royal family, which means she could have taken a day or two off from her everyday look to maintain a much more royal vibe. In our second spot, American status and separate religions. Despite the UK's former monarch, Queen Elizabeth, not having seen any real issue with the mixed race of Harry and Meghan's children, the British tabloids and public sensationalized the hell out of the fact that Meghan is American. She was birthed and raised in California and was actually the first American to become officially engaged with a royal family member, later going on to dedicate her life to Harry. However, the former actress is not the first American to ever marry a member of the royal fam. Still, many assumed Meghan would be incompetent in following the culture of the royals because she came from a much different one. Apparently, she could have faced denial to vote in the US as per the political royal family rule. And not only does her citizenship and culture still apparently affect her and Harry, but so does her religion. Though I don't really know why, Meghan's race and culture are just as important to royal family supporters as her religion is. According to UK-based tabloids, websites, and news outlets, Meghan is a Catholic, and that for some reason is an issue that could eventually make the relationship crumble. Apparently, this makes the relationship fragile and even serves as a huge conflict for the royal family. Even more, there are still others who believe Meghan's beliefs will cause hindrance on the couple's happiness over time. In our first spot, Diana's disapproval. According to The Richest, Diana would adamantly disapprove of Meghan being Harry's wife. Well, according to the articles The Richest cited for their information. For those of you who believe in the afterlife, alternative energy healer Simone Simmons received the opportunity to communicate with Princess Diana spiritually just to seek her opinion on Meghan while she was merely Harry's fiancée. Resultantly, Simone stated that Meghan should be worried. As per the self-proclaimed psychic and dear friend of Diana, Simone was reportedly able to speak with the former royal as if she were still alive. They talked about endless topics, including noting her son's preference for partners. Simone added that Diane adores Kate because she holds so much beauty and grace, but Meghan didn't receive the same compliment as per the article. Again, in the words of Simone, the psychic's connection with the late princess concluded with the idea that Meghan is not the ideal woman for Harry after all. In our 10th spot, Coronation no-go. This just in, Prince Harry will be in attendance for the King's coronation service in London on May 6th, but without his right-hand gal. Buckingham Palace officially confirmed the dramatic news in an earlier statement, deeming it a pleasure to welcome the Duke of Sussex's presence at Westminster Abbey next month. The Duchess, on the other hand, will remain at their Californian residence alongside her and Harry's 1-year-old daughter Lilibet and their son Archie, whose 4th birthday is dated the same day of the ceremony. The spouse's friend, Ahmed Scooby, noted how Archie's birthday was a major factor in their decision and expects Harry's UK trip to be brief, meaning he'll likely only show up for the ceremony spread over a few hours. The palace's announcement was released merely 3 weeks ahead of the event, with a royal observer informing Mail Online, "Charles will be pleased. The rest will be relieved that Meghan won't be there. It would have been particularly uncomfortable for Kate." Initially, Harry and Meghan delayed their decision to attend even though the RSVP date on April 3rd passed. Apparently, the uncertainty over whether the couple would fly out left royal officials without confirmed final arrangements, like seating plans, security, and transport. Harry, who formally bared all of his and Meghan's troubles during his time with the royals through several releases, will officially witness his father and stepmother being crowned in the next 3 weeks. This most recent news ended months of speculation about the exiled royal appearances, but it seems Meghan is already being accused of snubbing the monarch and the rest of the royals. Before we jump into number 9, like today's video to support our small channel. In our 9th spot, co-signing Spare. When her husband released his scorchingly telling memoir, Spare, Meghan may not have been physically present to promote it, but she was definitely co-signing all the juicy information featured in it. We know this mostly because Meghan has always been super on board with revealing all of the royal family's dark secrets alongside Harry, as early as when they left the palace and royal duties behind. The events broken down in the tell-all quite literally exposed the royals for a multitude of things, including alleged physical violence and words supposedly spewed in a negative sense about the couple. And then there's simply the reason of why not. If the events in the book are true, and I was personally subjected to that kind of treatment for years, you'd bet I'd be co-signing my husband's messy memoir too. In our 8th spot, the Netflix-Spotify eras. Harry and Meghan's most recent Netflix to Spotify eras have quite literally divided the royal family, while also tainting the reputation the family has tried so hard to maintain. Between podcasts and documentary series, Meghan and Harry have embarked on a mission to ruin the royals because of the treatment they allegedly endured during their time together on duty. Harry even claimed he was subjected to rather cruel behavior long before he married Meghan and brought her into their former family titles. They've gone on what many have dubbed the expose tour to pretty much prove their initial points, and while many have berated them for this, the couple saw tons of praise from royal fans and supporters who have stuck by their sides even after their exit. In our 7th spot, leaving Harry's inner circle. In the midst of separation rumors and her supposed lack of support for Harry's Spare promotions, Meghan was also reportedly looking to publicly detach herself from her husband, including expanding her social circle. According to the magazine which published the OG claims, Meghan formulated a list of people she desired to reconnect with and wrote Harry out of the rumored events. And apparently Harry was not happy with his wife's decision, as the report stated he was allegedly feeling out of sorts over it. The publication further noted Harry's American friends being considerably smaller in comparison to Meghan's, so it would be a major change for him to separate from Meghan after they maintained such a unified front over time. The shift was considered huge for Harry because he was supposedly forced to follow Meghan's advice, but he also added how much good they'd get from spreading their wings a little. In our 6th spot, Harry's puppeteer. As per royal experts and Prince Harry's biographer, Angela Levin, Harry follows Meghan in fear of being cut off from his wife. The claims from Angela also included the Duchess being dubbed very frightening to live with, and how Meghan needed to maintain a thick skin if she desired to become a politician. But let's break this down a bit more though. A report previously stated Harry did not want to suffer the same fate his wife's ex-best friend, Jessica Mulroney, saw. Meghan reportedly broke off her friendship with Jessica due to a white privilege scandal. According to sources, the Canadian fashion designer and stylist felt slighted by Meghan. And well, Harry, he's known to be fiercely loyal to Meghan. The whole world understands this, so when Angela made a GB News appearance and informed Dan Wooten that Harry supposedly fears being the next person Meghan cuts out of her life, people naturally believed her. Meghan's need for thick skin, according to Angela, is due to years-long rumors of Meghan setting her sights on the Oval Office. reports. UK investigative reporter and journalist Tom Bauer once spoke on this during a Mail Plus Confidential podcast back in 2022. The author also formally shared a piece of advice for Meghan while echoing Angela's sentiment. In his opinion, Meghan stood a good chance of accomplishing her alleged political ambitions. In our 5th spot, snubbing the monarch. Royal experts assume Meghan may be risking closing a door she can't quite open again when it comes to the royal family. Apparently, this quote, irreversible blow is because of Meghan's decision to miss the king's coronation. According to the report centered around royal experts' opinions, Harry would have likely been iced out by his family if he attended with Meghan. But in a backwards way, Meghan's lack of attendance was warned to cause a fatal rift within the firm. You know, because her son isn't going to be turning 4 on the same day as the historic celebration or anything. Reports detailed Harry's ended relationship with the firm prior because his revelations were done with intent from the start. GB News was informed by Royal Public Relations Specialist Edward Coram James that, in a universe in which the damage already caused by the rift is still recoverable from, at least in part, a no-show would be fatal, both in the public perception as well as within the family itself. It risks drawing out the conflict over the long term. Edward added how Meghan's refusal to join the festivities would draw as much, if not more, media attention. In our 4th spot, no royal return. King Charles III and Meghan once shared a tight-knit bond, with the former giving her an endearing nickname to what they are now, pretty much nothing but in-laws. Even though tensions have remained present at the head of Meghan and Harry's royal relations, the couple once held sweet relationships with their UK counterparts. So of course, Meghan built a rather strong one with Charles. Then the couple disclosed intimate insight into their lives behind the palace's walls, and alongside several allegations, the pair claimed the family planted and leaked stories as a way to ruin their public image. This strained their ties within the family, given everything. However, even with the controversial secrets, we also saw a painted picture that showed a much more unified family that was all cool. In fact, on several occasions, Meghan penned about just how close she was with Charles, which may play into his reported disappointment over her absence for his upcoming coronation. In January 2020, the Duke and Duchess stepped down from their titles and relocated overseas. And well, we all know what happened in the events that followed. After the confirmation that Meghan will not be in attendance during the UK celebration next month, commentary has spun into what lies next for Meghan. Express.co.uk's royal editor Emily Ferguson once said, Meghan's absence speaks volumes. Her unwillingness to sit through the 2-hour service and support her in-laws on one of the most important days of their lives marks the final point in her royal journey, and there's no way back from here. In our 3rd spot, ignoring protocol. Remember when Meghan was accused of not bowing to the Queen? You know, that debate that swept social media on whether or not she paid her respect to the late monarch? Yeah, well, it was a blink and you might miss the proof moment. Being quite literally freshly married into the royal family, Meghan was expected to curtsy to those of higher power than her in the kingdom. But there were tons of speculations from viewers who watched the then royal wedding who questioned if she bent her knee to the former Her Majesty. Most popped off on Twitter in regard to Meghan's alleged etiquette faux pas. Royal biographer Ingrid Seward once mentioned how the bride and prince were requested to curtsy and bow to Elizabeth following the ceremony's national anthem portion. However, people claim they didn't see it occur. In the end, it was actually a faulty camera angle that panned out to a bird's eye view, proving the gesture was just difficult to spot. Since then, Meghan has always been captured doing her diligence to the Queen, specifically for the very first time during a 2017 Christmas Day service in Norfolk. In our 2nd spot, family turned against her. Meghan's own sister formally betrayed her in the media, and if you don't believe me, Samantha Markle once said this herself. I worked in media most of my life and in broadcasting, so because my sister is suddenly royal isn't grounds for me to stop doing all of that. Let's face it, we all have to survive. Money makes the world go round, so if you want to call that cashing in, that's fine. But I think no one in the media would refuse a paycheck for talking about a royal, and as a family, we're not subjected to royal protocol. Why would I stop living because we have a family issue going on? Basically, she stated she didn't regret blasting the royals and her sister's former life. Big yikes. And in our 1st spot, the pregnancy debacle. Lastly, we have the most dramatic highlights of everything Meghan was criticized for while pregnant, and trust me, it was a lot. Starting in January 2019 and continuing until she was to term, Meghan couldn't breathe in the media without being endlessly grilled for cradling her pregnant belly, and all the ways and how often she did it. It was vile overall, and worse was something spewing from women alongside men. April of that same year saw piled on hate of claims Meghan was faking her pregnancy and that she and Harry were using a surrogate to hide the whole alleged ordeal from the public. Famous women are constantly subjected to the world's personal comments and opinions on their bodies, and Meghan's case was no different when she was blasted for reportedly using her prosthetic belly. The uproar online birthed hashtags including #moonbump and #Megxit to gain traction for the random unproven theory. April 2019 also saw royal reporters and British tabloids turning on the former royals, when the couple's official Instagram account @SuccessRoyal dropped the announcement that they were trading out tradition to hold a more private royal birth. The UK press was hot on their tails by demanding their rights to witness a spouse's newborn. The Sun specifically publicized a letter critiquing the then expecting parents, including, "The public has a right to know about the lives of those largely funded by their taxes. You can accept that or be private citizens." In our 10th spot, Catty Coronation. Despite their initial invitation, a few lower-end reporters have claimed the royals don't actually want the exiled couple to attend. However, what all big celebrity news outlets are indicating at the moment is that Meghan and Harry's children are supposedly not invited. According to the Daily Beast, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet are currently not on the guest list with their parents, first reported by The Telegraph. As per the article, the spouses have had no information about whether the children have been included in the plans surrounding the royal event, and friends of Harry and Meghan claim Archie and Lilibet's inclusion will be discussed further if and when the couple confirm their own attendance. In other related news, apparently the royals are terrified to speak with the prince and his wife at the coronation. With the event mere weeks away and no official confirmation that the former royals will be attending, the current royals seem to be spiraling like usual about running into the Sussex if they decide to show up. Royal commentator Louise Roberts informed Sky News Australia via The Sun, "The problem is that anyone who could be close to them, for example William and Kate, will not tell them anything. Everyone's terrified. Everything's for sale. Every indiscretion or every side comment could be magnified for an American audience in order to get them a profit." This comes high on the news of Meghan and Harry's negotiations over being stationed on the Buckingham Palace balcony with the rest of the royal family despite their initial bow out. Before we jump into number 9, subscribe if you'd like to see more royal family videos on Where Are They Now. In our 9th spot, ditching the royals. Now you may think this point is the one that's the most obvious, and you would be right. Everyone knows Harry and Meghan removed themselves from the life and responsibilities of being a royal some time ago, but Harry has made sure to continuously note the transition was never easy for him. When he recently spoke with trauma expert Gabor Mati, Harry said he lost a lot by breaking out of the only life he was familiar with. However, it hasn't been all bad for him. Despite him telling Gabor the therapy allowed him to maintain more distance from his family, and he struggled and failed to get them to do the same, he also noted how worth it was for him to break the cycle and not deal with the generational trauma that would have cursed his kids from his own childhood upbringing. Yet, most recently, Harry and Meghan unilaterally declared their daughter Lilibet a princess, revealed in a Wednesday morning announcement regarding her christening. Lilibet is a born princess, as her parents have stated, but the palace does not seem to want to recognize her new handle, which obviously kicks up another confrontation ahead of the coronation. Legally, Meghan and Harry's kids are entitled to be referred to by their royal titles based on the royal rule of the grandchildren of monarchs being rightfully titled as such. However, the palace has actively refused to show this on its official channel and seemingly dragged out how the Sussex kids would be styled. Many speculated the royals' lack of acknowledging Archie and Lilibet as prince and princess were due to the couple's many fallouts with the family. But Meg and Harry seem to have lost their patience over this, as they have now left it up to the palace to explicitly choose to deny their children's titles or not. In our 8th spot, royal gossipers. Both Meghan and Harry have done their fair share of royal gossip in their time, including in 2018 when Meghan claimed Kate made her cry after an initial report blamed Meghan for doing so to Kate oppositely. Meghan later refuted these claims surrounding the bridesmaids' gowns during her old Oprah interview. However, royal biographer Tom Bauer backed up Kate in his book Revenge by revealing Meghan did in fact make Kate cry, even after assuring the public she didn't. Meghan's comparison of Charlotte to Kate's friend's daughter surely upset Kate to the point of tears, which obviously landed another royal gossip story at the hands of Meghan. Then there's Harry, who quite literally never stops opening up about his and his family's never-ending tiffs, like his and his father's visibly icy relationship and how he and William are always at each other's throats. This also includes the time Harry exposed his brother for allegedly scraping his back with a dog bowl after they physically fought over then recent drama. In our 7th spot, attacking the royals. Kind of reeling off the last point, point, Meghan and Harry have been known to supposedly throw verbal attacks at the royals too, even more than I've already discussed. We spoke a bit before about the dog bowl incident from Harry's messy tell-all spare, but that wasn't the only time he exposed rifts between himself and the royal family in his memoir. He also claimed the reason why he titled his book as such is that his father allegedly told his mother that he received an heir and a spare, a reference to his older brother William being first in line to take the throne. But this tell-all has reportedly backfired on Harry, as it garnered a lot more negative public attention and exile from the UK than it did support and praise. In our sixth spot, liars. According to not only the royal family, but the royal family's supporters, Harry and Meghan are both massive liars. As per the Monarchs & Co., Kate and the royals once called Meghan out for supposedly lying about their fallout over Charlotte's dress. But even more, William also previously stated that a lot of Harry's stories are supposedly fabricated. In fact, Meghan and Harry have been called liars over the smallest of things, including the detailed events surrounding their engagement. Harry's also made more public claims that William briefed the press against him, that his messages to Charles were leaked by the institution, and that he believed Meghan miscarried due to their former male legal battle. These were all dubbed as lies according to royal experts as well. In our fifth spot, telling too much. The notably famous talk show host Oprah held a formerly explosive March 2021 interview with the ex-royals. In it, Meghan and Harry go down a list of things I surely do not have the time to deep dive into, but also included Meghan sharing her experiences of lack of support during times she struggled with her mental health, and Archie's denial of protection and a royal title. During a recent CBS Mornings appearance with her longtime pal Gayle King, TV icon Oprah gave a wise response to the questions about her thoughts on Harry and Meghan's invite. I think they should do what they feel is best for them and their family. That's what the bottom line comes down to. What do you feel like is the best thing for you? On top of their Oprah interview, Harry even once penned the couple's most intimate details, including a spicy night with Meghan during a secret hotel rendezvous, in which Harry admitted he was almost caught red-handed after a hotel staff brought them room service the following morning. And if that doesn't tell you we may be getting too many personal peeks into their lives, I don't know what will. In our fourth spot, drama everywhere they go. Fans believe this couple carries drama just about everywhere. Not to mention, Meghan apparently once caused a stir, which royal fans deemed dramatic, after she revealed she wanted to previously end her own life. She relayed this information to Harry when they were about to walk out to do a charity event for the royal family, in which Harry later opened up about Meghan's dark thoughts and how he was only able to briefly cuddle her because they had to save face for the event they'd be photographed at seconds later. In our third spot, bad reputations. Tom Bowers most recently deemed Harry and Meghan Hollywood nobodies. Since this, the spouses will apparently suffer far different treatment as opposed to the royals at the upcoming coronation. This includes seating plans, where they will likely face the cold shoulder as per a royal family source. The family friends stated to the Daily Mail, most likely on behalf of the royals, they will be given the cold shoulder by very many relatives. One said to me, I hope they'll be seated in Iceland. Many of the family just want nothing more to do with them. If they have to see them at the coronation, then so be it, but they do not want to socialize with them. Not to mention, other notable misses Harry and Meghan will have to face are being excluded from the royal ceremonial outfits, not having a place on the balcony, and instead being a part of the other non-working royals crew, and Harry not being included in the process of kneeling for his father as the new king. In our second spot, disobeying royal rules. Meghan made two big fashion faux pas in the form of breaking royal protocol at the British Fashion Awards 2018 ceremony. For one, her nails were painted burgundy, as opposed to the sheer near pearl pink polish Queen Elizabeth was wearing for over 3 decades. According to the brand site, this color was deemed by the monarch as the only color Her Majesty would wear. Secondly, Meghan closed her own door. Without Harry on her arm, Meghan displayed a small act of independence when she shut her own car door. I know, somebody roll off the handcuffs please? Because according to Twitter, this act was the most jaw-dropping, earth-shattering moment frowned upon by a royal on duty. Megs broke a couple of other royal rules outside of the fashion event too, like publicly sharing her political opinions, wearing a sleeveless dress to her Buckingham Palace balcony debut, and ignoring their pantyhose tradition under dresses and skirts. In our first spot, causing tension. It's been pretty standardized that the royals have hated Meghan from the get-go, and how they've secretly initially blamed Harry for all the mess which led to now. However, whichever way you spin it, Harry and Meghan have been divided from the royal family for almost ages now. If you're more on the outskirts, you might even be part of the argument that blames the royals' hostility towards Meghan from the moment she was introduced to her future in-laws, and how the public ran with that revelation to add to the hate. According to another royal expert, Penny Jr., the royals reduced Meghan to not being as charming as she seemed while she was on TV, and added how the royals were not the only ones appalled by Meghan's quote show-busy approach to her new life as a royal family member. Given they're the most famous bloodline in the world, the Oprah Winfrey interview was indicated as the nail in the coffin that pretty much ended Meghan's brief relationship with her in-laws. In our 10th spot, a Hollywood nobody. Royal expert Tom Bowers spoke with GB News on Monday to suggest how the Duke and Duchess not showing up at any Oscar party events proved their influence in Hollywood is disappearing. On television, Tom stated, "They really are nobodies in Hollywood." An example of the former would be the Californian couple's notable absence from Sir Elton John's AIDS Foundation's 31st Annual Academy Awards viewing party, an event in which a large number of A-listers were seen celebrating. The topic of Sir Elton can become controversial because of how he has remained a constant support in Harry's life, including the time he performed at Harry and Meghan's 2018 wedding in Windsor. The famed musician was furthermore a close friend of Harry's late mother, Princess Diana, and carried out that great bond with the Duke after Diana passed in 1997. In August 2019, the Sussexes took a trip to visit Sir Elton and David in their €15 million home during the couple's French Riviera holiday trip. This vacation happened shortly after Meghan and Harry returned from the UK to Ibiza on a private jet, following a 6-night getaway on the Spanish island to celebrate Meghan's 38th birthday. In a statement released later on, Elton defended his friend by admitting he paid for the exclusive plane. Detailed to be a rock to the former royals, Elton made sure to speak up after the backlash that came from the couple's use of 4 private jets in 11 days back in 2019, referring to Diana as one of his dearest friends whose family he felt a profound sense of obligation to protect. Before we jump into number 9, subscribe to Where Are They Now for more up-to-date celebrity news. In our 9th spot, celebrity peers want zero association. Around the time of September 2022, there was a slew of famous faces who apparently refused to be associated with Meghan, and it wasn't long before royal experts were hot on Meghan's tail with warnings of the growing amount of dislike she seemed to be amassing on a broad global scale. These same advisors voiced concerns about a potential exile at the time. These claims were made specifically by Richard Eden, one of the Daily Mail's diary editors, who discussed this in a Mail Plus interview with Palace Confidential. In the sit-down, he relayed, "We didn't hear much about Serena, it was all about Meghan. It was very much, that's enough about me, what do you think of me?" Instead of Serena making headlines, all the headlines have been about Meghan's stories and the things she disclosed during this podcast. It was a missed opportunity, certainly for Serena, given that I'm not sure famous people will be queuing up to go on because they'll know it's actually all about the supposed interviewer. In our 8th spot, planned place in Harry's life. Many devoted royal fans and followers have been super adamant about their suspicions of Meghan cleverly crafting up a plot to rank high in fame and straight into Harry's heart. While many have classed her as sneaky for supposedly weaseling her wants in life out of the Duke, others commended Meghan for her hard work at a dream millions of modern-day women are also trying to achieve. However, the question begs to differ. Is Meghan an opportunist? Maybe. But did she play her cards right even if she's not? Without a doubt. Yet she did this without the dramatically conniving way that trolls would like everyone to think. She simply chased her dreams in search of her happy ending and impressively managed to become one of the world's most famous women in the process. Now, I don't know for sure about y'all, but that sounds like a lot of aspiring celebrities' dreams to me. In our 7th spot, truth of lies. We know Oprah Winfrey is the queen of chit-chat, as she's given the world some of the most iconic interviews and stories of our generation. So naturally, royal fans were in absolute shambles when it was revealed the couple was doing a tell-all. And as much flack as Meghan has caught over this, it does make sense that she was resolute in disclosing her former royal rumbles. From that point, Meghan had to basically disappear from the public eye, get rid of her social media accounts, follow every one of their many rules, and keep absolutely quiet while the whole world continued to discuss her. Therefore, when Meghan quit being a royal, she was surely entitled to tell her side of events and defend the never-ending backlash, right? Her truth was deemed lies, but she wasn't exactly floating through Hollywood bad-mouthing the royals, showing off her baby to paparazzi, or posting controversial tweets. Even more, she remained pretty dignified throughout the whole process. As it's been noted, Meghan could have done far more damage if she felt like it. In our sixth spot, banking off her life. Word of Meghan banking off her life has been a constant hot topic during her time in Hollywood, especially regarding all of her and Harry's more recent showbiz deals with Spotify and Netflix. However, it can be argued that Meghan is simply doing what she loves and should be allowed to do so. Meghan's been called nothing short of fame hungry, with resentful people spreading false news about her supposedly plotting her Hollywood return all along. But Prince Harry nipped that one in the butt when he informed Oprah that their business deals happened last minute because of their financial situation, insisting the Netflixes and Spotify's of it all was never part of the plan. Even more, Meghan already had a prior presence in Hollywood through a handful of advertisements, minor roles, and her brief time as a briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal. This eventually landed her a major role in a hit TV series, which shows she's dedicated to her craft and has a true passion for being in the industry above all. So with everything from her past with the royal family, Meghan must have been at least a little bit relieved to dip her toes back into the public she's most familiar with. Some Meghan supporters even argued that the couple has remained sans rom-coms and reality shows, and that their content is overall motivational and raises awareness for issues like mental health. In our fifth spot, didn't try hard enough with the royals. It's been argued time and time again by the masses that Meghan never put any effort into her life as a royal. However, the same sentiment can be reversed. In fact, I think sometimes Meghan tried too hard to fit into the royal family's way of living. Of course, the life of a higher power is no easy feat, and honestly, there probably aren't many people who could successfully put themselves in that position to thrive. It's been reported how their policies, procedures, and relentless rules are enough to push anyone to the brink of insanity. So it's proper to note how Meghan remained on the entire time she was a royal family member, never once dropping the ball. She had no public meltdowns or outbursts even, which could show that she never raised any personal drama, even in her lowest times, but rather the drama was truly crowding in from the public's opinion of her. In our fourth spot, took Harry from his royal duties. People will naysay about this topic all day, but the truth of the matter is that Harry himself repeatedly stated he chose to walk away from the royals and Meghan had nothing to do with it. Still, according to reports and the general public, Meghan is a master manipulator and is the reason why she and Harry are still together now. However, some have stated Meghan should not be blamed for Meghanix because Harry is a grown man who should be held accountable for his own decisions and actions. Harry even admitted his desire to leave the royal family as early as his early 20s. During a Dax Shepard episode for his Armchair Expert podcast, Harry stated his quick realization of not wanting to be associated with the royals while reaching adulthood. Quote, "It was a case of, I don't want this job, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be doing this. Look what it did to my mom." In our third spot, attention-seeking backlash. If you side with the general public, Meghan's confession of once wanting to end her life was another manipulation tactic for attention, but any other empathetic human could tell you it was more of a cry for help. During her Oprah chit-chat during promotion for the Duke's then newest Apple TV docuseries, The Me You Can't See, Harry admitted that moments prior to them taking photos at a charity event, Meghan revealed her dark, troubled thoughts to him. Because of the system we were in and the responsibilities and duties we had a quick cuddle, and then we had to go to the Royal Albert Hall for a charity event and step out into a wall of cameras and pretend as though everything was okay, Harry stated on the Manor. In our second spot, too much family drama. Also, per the public, Meghan can't stay out of drama, and this ties into not only her tension with the royal family, but also issues with her own. Similar to Harry's relationship with King Charles III, Meghan and her father, Thomas Markle, have shared their own back and forth experiences, even prior to Meghan's fame. According to Meghan's childhood sweetheart, Joshua Silverstein, her and Thomas's relationship has been consistently complicated. He explained, "I did know Meghan's relationship with her dad was complicated, and I understood that as most teenage to parent relationships are. Being there when Meghan's parents were divorced at that time, it's hard raising her kids without the secondary parent. It's all challenging." Putting aside feuding and overall family history, it wouldn't have made sense that Meghan suddenly became publicly estranged from her dad so quickly before her wedding for the entire world to witness. It had to have been years of build-up, and in retrospect, most families would miserably fail this kind of overnight global spotlight, revealing their woeful past as such. In our first spot, problematic pregnancy. A lot of Meghan's hidden hate came at what was supposed to be one of the most joyous life occasions. While she was heavily pregnant and set to give birth a few weeks later, online users were targeting her for just about everything under the sun. The way she looked, how she spoke, what she was negatively trending for, damn near down to how she breathed. It was all very much insane. Despite that time meaning to be a happy one for Meghan, she was probably no doubt in just as much emotional and mental pain as she was in physical. And the argument still stands that no woman deserves to be distressed or depressed right before welcoming new life into the world.